Hello and welcome to this video about the many faces of holding spaces. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Bella Luna. I am a spiritual life coach, healer, mystic, transformational facilitator, and radical self-love advocate. And today I am coming to you from the northern Thai city of Chiang Mai in the north of Thailand. So today I'm talking about the many faces of holding spaces. So it's just a silly title, ignore the title. I just want to tell you a story about something that happened to me about a week or so ago on the island of Koh Phangan. So I was invited to a sort of a spoken word evening. When I was invited, I didn't know it was a spoken word evening. I was told it was like a creative jam session where creatives just got together and shared some creative expression. I got the impression that we would be sitting around, perhaps like some people would be painting and drawing and writing and building and on their computers, and we'd all be sort of like creating stuff together. I didn't realize it would be a spoken word open mic event. So when I first arrived and I realized that what it was, immediately went into panic mode. Do I share something? Do I not share something? What does it say about me if I don't share something? What does it say about me if I do share something? If I don't share something, does that mean like I'm not enough and I haven't contributed? And if I share something, does that mean that I am attention seeking and that I love the limelight? What does he say about me? And I immediately went into like, what do I do? So because I wasn't prepared, I decided I wasn't going to contribute. I wasn't going to say anything. And I sat there through several rounds of songs and music and poetry and stories. And I sat there with this feeling of feeling not good enough because I wasn't sharing something, because I couldn't just stand up and tell a story without any prep, because I'm not very musical, I can't sing. I love to sing, but not many other people love me to sing, right? So I sing for myself, not for audiences. I mostly sing Disney. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway, so I was sitting there with this discomfort in my body of not contributing, but also this feeling of wanting to contribute, because I write a lot of poetry and I have a lot of poems just, sitting on my phone that was just next to me, waiting to be shared with the world. So I then was wrestling with this feeling of, do I share, don't I share, do I share, don't I share? What does it say about me if I share? What does it say about me if I don't share? Is that what would I share if I wanted to share? And would anyone like it? Would people laugh at me? I mean, no one was going to laugh at me, but those things go through your head. It was a very safe space full of lovely people, but this is the kind of things that go through your mind in situations like this. And then I realized that my intention, my resolution at the beginning of this year, my New Year's resolution for 2021 was to be brave, was to do the scary things, was to step up and make mistakes. If any of you have seen a previous video of mine about making mistakes, you'll know the story about my spirit dragon that told me, you can do it, you can fail, make mistakes and fuck it up. So this is the energy that I've been living in this year, is just going out there and doing things, whether they're imperfect, scary, terrifying, crapping my pants. That was the energy of this year. And as I was sitting there watching all of these beautiful performances, I realized that I needed to share something, because I needed to be brave, and to step up into that energy. And as soon as I had decided I was going to share something, I had this almighty terror fill my body. I'm not a shaky person, like, a lot of people get the shakes. I don't really get the shakes, but I had the shakes. My body started trembling, I started getting really hot, my stomach was in a knot, and I was like, normally when this happens, I'm like, okay, we got to get up next, because we don't want to sit in this feeling. And I was like, but this feeling makes me feel alive. This feeling makes me feel like I'm doing something outside of my comfort zone, and I'm all about being outside of the comfort zone, testing your limits, testing your boundaries, you know, doing the scary things. I'm an adrenaline junkie. So I was like, this is adrenaline that's running through my body. So let's get high on it. So I forced myself to sit there in that energy for, you know, several performances. And I was like, I'm just breathing into this. This is great. This is uncomfortable. This is scary. This is awesome. Like, and I'm just there like, let's ride this adrenaline. This is great. And then a gap opened up for me. No one else was stepping up. So I was like, I'll go. And not only did I read a poem, but I read a poem that was unfinished, a poem that I'd never read before, and a poem that I didn't think was actually, I didn't know what kind of a response it was going to get. My other poems have been read before at spoken word events or to friends and family, and I've had feedback on them. This poem was unfinished and never shared before. So I went in right at the deep end of the deep end. And I got many laughs, many laughs, which I wasn't expecting. It came naturally, it was perfect. My performance, I was very happy with my performance. I sat down, continued with my evening. And then at the end of the evening, the friend that I had gone with, we went back to her house and we hung out for a bit, and we discussed how uncomfortable it was to sit there knowing that you weren't contributing, and how to sit in that feeling of, what does that say about me, and does that make me less worthy because I haven't contributed? And because it's easier to advise someone else and to support someone else and to advocate for someone else, once my friend had shared that she felt the same as me, I was able to gain a different perspective, because it wasn't me that I was then dealing with. It was her and her unworthiness. And I suddenly got this whole shift in perspective and was like, yeah, but do you know how brave it is? How brave it is to sit and hold space in that kind of a situation without contributing. Contributing makes you feel like you were there for a reason, like you had a purpose, like you shared something, like you were important in that space. But actually, it's just as important, if not more important, to just hold the space for that sort of event, to hold the space to make it safe, loving, and nurturing for those people to feel brave enough to stand up there and bare their souls in the way that we do at spoken word events. And then I realized how brave it was for us to sit there not contributing, and how brave it was for me and for everyone else to stand up there and share. So whether you're just holding space or whether you're directly contributing to, you know, the event, all those roles are so important. If you're just there, if everyone was just there just to share their stuff, just to stand up there and be like, this is me, this is my soul I'm bearing to you, and there was no one standing holding the space for them to make it safe and welcoming and holding that, then that would be even scarier for those people. They'd walk away feeling bare, naked, like maybe like they would never do that again. So the space holding and sitting in that feeling of attending a spoken word event and not contributing, that is real bravery. Just as brave as it was for me to stand up and read a poem that was unfinished and I'd never read before, it was also brave of me to sit not expecting to share anything, and it was brave of my friend to sit there and not share anything at all. And this comes from a woman who I know can weave words together like magic, and she chose not to contribute even though I know she could have. So seeing that perspective from her gave me a new perspective on me, and this is just something I wanted to share with you because I thought it was so potent and juicy, and I hope that it helps some of you perhaps see how important it is just to hold space for someone. So for example, say a friend comes to you with a problem. They're experiencing pain, they're experiencing grief, fear, shame, guilt, whatever it is that they're expressing. Holding space for them is the most important gift you can give them. You don't need to give them advice. You don't need to give them solutions. You don't need to fix their problems. That's not why they're coming to you. That's not why the universe has put you two together in that moment. You are there simply to hold space for them, to give them the time, the space, the energy for them to share what's on their heart, for them to bare their soul, for them to get off their chest the challenge that they are going through, for you to receive it, for you to witness them, for you to hear them, see them, feel them. And sometimes it's more of a gift for you to not try and fix it, because that's almost like, it almost relates a little bit back to the spiritual bypassing video I did last week. If you haven't seen that yet, then go either through the Facebook group or through the YouTube channel and find the spiritual bypassing video, because this can relate. So if I'm sharing, you know, my problems of someone and they're just trying to fix it, sometimes I'm feeling like, I don't want you to fix that. I just need you to witness me. I just need you to hear me and maybe even empathize with me and show me some compassion and say, yeah, that sucks. That must be really difficult. Like, yeah, that's a really tough situation. I feel you. Instead of just being like, oh, well, have you tried this and have you tried that, and what about this and how about that, and oh, I know this person that can help, and this and that and the other. I'm not saying don't give suggestions and advice to people, but don't do it as like an automatic reaction, because it's almost like you want to just squash the problem by like, here's a solution, now let's move on, as opposed to like, yeah, I'm gonna sit here in this pain with you because this sucks, this sounds really shitty, and you know, and I just want to bear witness to this for you and make you feel like you are valid, your feelings are valid. I don't want to dismiss you. I want to just hold that space. So never underestimate the power of holding